Hey everyone, in today's video I'm going to be showing you my LEGO Aerodactyl MOC and giving you a detailed look of the MOC, including its features, articulation, and posability. If you're interested in building this yourself, you can check the link in the description below for both the parts file and PDF instructions, which are now up on my store, and the proceeds just help to support this channel and future MOCs and builds. The total part count for this MOC is 472 pieces, and at the time of recording this video, it can cost around $70 to $75 Canadian. Please keep in mind this does not include shipping or handling, and your final cost may vary. So for this MOC, it's mostly built using light bluish gray pieces, with some dark purple for the underside of the wings, and a couple of other colors used here and there for different details. I would say that the design for this MOC was pretty smooth, since light bluish gray is one of the most common colors in LEGO, so there were plenty of parts I could pull from, but there were a few challenges during the design, which I'll get into more detail throughout this video. First, taking a look at its head, the design actually came together pretty quickly, and there wasn't that much rework needed since I was able to use a lot of building techniques that I've used previously in other Pokemon MOCs. And these building techniques just helped me to break down its features and translate it easily into LEGO. When I was looking at the official artwork, I knew I wanted to use this modified slope piece with this 2x2 double wedge slope to capture its nose and beak-like appearance at the front. And the notches in that double wedge slope piece also help to resemble the nostrils, which was an added bonus detail. The entire head is attached onto a mixo style ball joint, so you can rotate it and tilt it in a lot of different angles. The jaw is also attached with clip and bar pieces, so you can open it pretty wide, but you aren't able to fully close it. One of the compromises for the jaw getting its shaping is that if you look at the underside, some of the white from the teeth and this black snot brick do stick out, but since you don't really see it at most angles since it's on the underside, I was okay with this compromise. I did try to cover it with a tile, but I think it just made it look a bit too thick, and some of the connections, to have it attached on the underside would have just made some of the other connections a bit too weak. The eyes are done with simply just stacked plates and are covered off with the small subassembly on both sides, which also attach to the horns or ears, and you can change the angle of them slightly just to give it some different looks or expressions. Taking a closer look at the body, it's also pretty simple and is built with snot bricks for the interior, which lets me cover off all the sides with different wedges, slopes, and tiles to smooth it out. I made sure to leave some room for the neck, which is fixed at this angle, the bump on its back, and the tail subassembly, which is connected using a mixo style ball joint and is built in 3 subsections. The entire tail can be posed in many different directions, since it's a quite large gap, and each of the other subsections are only attached with clip and bar plate pieces, so they can only be rotated on one axis. The end of the tail was one of the more challenging parts to design, since I wanted to try and capture the arrow or spearhead-like look to it and have it scaled to the rest of the body. Initially the tail was symmetrical, but the techniques used made the connections very weak at the end, and it was really easy to mess up the tail. So I tweaked the design slightly so that the overall shape was still there, which is captured with these slope and inverted slope pieces. But as you see, there are some anti-studded surfaces on one side and it's tiled off on the other. And ideally I would have liked to tile off both sides, but I think it's an okay compromise for now. I think the tail is something I may revisit somewhere down the line, since I do think that the end is a bit too big, but I will see if I'm able to come up with another build technique later on. However, for now I think the design is okay for what it's trying to accomplish. If anyone has any other suggestions on how to modify the tail, feel free to let me know down in the comments below. The wings here are pretty simple. I mainly use regular and wedge plates stacked on top of each other just to get the shaping and to be as thin as possible, since the wings are quite heavy due to the wide wingspan. The shoulder joints use mixo style ball joints, so there's lots of articulation and options for posability, but due to the weight of the wings, they do tend to droop downward, but at a lot of angles it can rest against the body just to help hold itself up. The wings are also built into 2 subsections and are attached with the ratchet hinge plate pieces here. just because it's able to hold the angle between these two subsections better than just bar and clips could. Each finger can be open and closed, and the angle between these two fingers can be closed or spread wider open if you wanted to. For the legs, they aren't too special. I use some pretty simple snot techniques to get the look and shaping from the official design. They're attached at the hips with Mixo style ball joints, but due to the minimal gapping, the range of motion is somewhat limited. However, you can still rotate it forward and back and splay them in and out. I decided to not add any knee articulation just to help with its overall stability, and the ankles are attached with the ratcheted hinge plate pieces, so you're only able to rotate them forward and back. But the added friction here with the wide feet just help it to get it posed and balanced fairly easily. Finally, for those of you wondering, this is how it looks scaled up to a minifigure, as well as my custom trainer figure MOC, which is Pokemon Trainer Red, based off of his in-game appearance. I will say that the overall size is larger than you would expect when compared to my other LEGO Pokemon MOCs. However, let me know down in the comments below if you think I should scale this down or if you're okay with the size. That being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and thanks for watching.